Check 1, 2. Check. Check 1.
I can hear myself. Can you hear?
Yeah, it's good. Can you hear me?
Yeah, can you put your microphone a little closer to you? Now
Better? Better?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
better.
All right.
Yeah.
That's better.
Yep. And just speak at a little louder tone.
All right.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Perkiomen Valley High School Gymnasium, where we are set for a matchup between Norristown and Perkiomen Valley with some girls basketball coming up. Gentlemen, what are your thoughts as we enter into this fray of a competition tonight?
As we get past the halfway point of the season here and heading into the second half, but these are two teams in two different directions as far as the season is going. Norristown out to an 0-11 start, Perkiomen Valley out to a 12-2 start, trying to build on a program that's just been building for years and, certainly been a very good program. And in this particular group of girls who are seniors are looking to, have their eyes on a state championship. So they're building up to get better and better as the season goes on. Tonight's one of those games where they really want to work on things that they need to work on. I'm sure Coach Russo is looking for certain things from his team, but I wouldn't expect them to see them out on the floor too long because this game might get out of hand rather quickly.
Tyler, any thoughts as we enter into this one?
I completely agree.
All right, so starting lineups for tonight for the visiting Norristown Eagles, we have Sente McCoy, Alexis Hernandez, Adriana Golston Witter, Addison O'Neill, and Alana Colson. For the Perkiomen Valley Vikings, we have Bella Bacani, Lena Stein, Grace Miley, Quinn Bettinger, and Grace Galbavy. We start off the scoring with a 2-point conversion for the Vikings. I believe that was Grace Miley.
Yeah, Grace Miley off the tap right away up for an easy 2. Perk Valley back playing zone defense.
Connie with the turnover feeds to Quinn Bettinger, who scores on an easy run out.
Quinn Bettinger, who has a great style of running the floor. I mean, she's very capable of just grabbing the rebound, kicking it to the wing, and then running ahead of the ball, which is awesome to be able to have your 5 do that. Gets ahead of the defense and usually is able to capitalize at the other end, just like we saw there.
Yeah, one of those awesome skills for one of your larger players is to be able to rim run, really go full court and to get ahead of the defense. So Bettinger certainly mastering that skill over her 4 years here at PV.
Yeah, PV does a great job. They faced a lot of opponents where they're able to get out and run the floor. Grace Galbavy very good at that. We're seeing now Norristown in a 2-3 zone, just probably going to try to limit the size differential. Nice steal there for Norristown, coming back the other way. Number 11, Alexis Hernandez, and up for 2. Alexis Hernandez, only a sophomore for Norristown.
Yeah, good job in the defense. You see they're sitting back in their zone, but PV looking for that cross-court pass and an easy pickoff for Norristown.
Also in that starting 5 is Addison O'Neill, a freshman for Norristown. There's Grace Galbavy for 3.
That was Grace Miley.
I'm sorry, Grace Miley.
I know.
Thank
it's
you.
tough. There's 2 Graces on the floor, but hey, she starts off the score. She starts off with 5 points already for the Vikings.
Get a jump ball over in the corner there between Grace and number 14, Addison O'Neill, who I was just starting to speak about, a freshman starting for Norristown. So Norristown with a couple of young players here that have had an impact on this team throughout the season. We'll see if they're able to build on that program over the course of the years here. Coach Greg Bates for Norristown in his 3rd year.
Yeah, it looks like the ball's going to stay here for Norristown, a jump ball on the call, but it looks like Grace Miley got a collision in the head, which stopped play for just a moment there. And Galbavy with the turnover leads to transition, 2 for her.
Grace Galbavy on her way to Wake Forest next year, playing in the ACC. That's awesome for her. Big challenge playing in the ACC. Many good teams in that conference.
Obviously, the mecca of basketball is ACC basketball, and it's really awesome to know that one of our own will be going to play at Wake Forest.
Yeah, she should be a terrific addition to that staff. It's easier said than done. That should be a travel when you roll with the ball, and it is.
Good hustle there for Norristown, but it's going to go back to the Vikings with a 9-2 advantage. We have 5:30 remaining here in this first quarter.
Wake Forest not generally one of the top programs in the ACC, but certainly adding Grace Galbavy and whatever other the recruits they have, I'm not exactly sure. I'll actually take a look at that for the next game. And, Grace is certainly going to add a punch to that program right away and a very competitive ACC. And certainly women's basketball in general since the Caitlin Clark movement, but even prior to that, the conference play was getting very good at the NCAA level, certainly at the WNBA level, and we could, maybe someday we'll see Grace Galvin playing here for potentially the new Philadelphia WNBA franchise that they're talking about.
That would be phenomenal. And you know what? Players like Grace, she can really do it all. She can guard on the perimeter. She can guard inside. She can score. She can drive. She's that much of a talent. Certainly something that we haven't really seen, very unique. And so she really can play 1 through 5.
Yeah, and a deceptive defender. I've said this over the years. You look at Grace, and her body language almost tells you like she's not into it. But no. She's just stalking her next victim, so to speak, where she's going to step her. She's got very quick hands, and she can jump into a passing lane and long arms and a long reach. So she does a great job of that on a defensive standpoint, and a very good shot blocker.
PV there with another turnover, puts the ball back into the hands of Norristown, who's looking to score their second basket of the game. And Grace Miley, always a gritty player, getting the rebound. Bacani with the drive. Off the mark, she gets her own rebound and passes to Bettinger, who scores 2. Quinn Bettinger finding her way to Navy next year. So certainly going to be awesome to see her playing in those upper ranks as well.
Yeah, 4 of the 5 starters will be playing at the next level. Grace Miley heading off the Penn State main campus, but not choosing to play basketball at the next level. Could if she wanted to. I think she could play Division III, Division II. Just choosing not to based on what she wants to do at college. So good for her. Having an outstanding career here at Perk Valley and battled through some difficult injuries in her career, and here she is out here in her senior year, and I'm sure she's celebrating it just as much as she's competing, because there was a dark chance that she might not even get out to play again, and here she is. So good for her.
Certainly a fighter, and you love watching her play. And Quinn Bettinger with the easy dump in from Miley for another 2 points.
Yeah, Perk Valley just kind of having their way early on here with Norristown. Norristown not able to quite match up, at least from a talent standpoint, trying to effectively execute some of their offense. And they're really doing a nice job at it. Like we were saying, 11 Alexis Hernandez and 14 Addison O'Neill. Really doing a nice job getting the ball around, getting some nice shots, really patient, have some fundamental basketball turnover there. But, there's Grace Galvin, like we said, a very good defender who jumps into passing lanes very well.
Yeah, it seems in some ways that there's different levels to this. And PV, with the players that they've had, the chemistry that they have, as well as not just here at the high school, but just all the way through middle school, these girls have really developed a chemistry and have really worked hard to build what they have so far.
Absolutely, and they have big aspirations this year. Lefty, that's number 11, Alexis Hernandez for 3, I believe. No, 2. I'm sorry.
That was a 2-pointer, and that was a nice jump shot, though. Rough foot on the line. Lena Stein kicks to Bacani, who pulls up for 3. Front iron is going to go back into Norristown hands.
Norristown with a nice job the way they rotated there in their 2-3 defense. See if they can do something offensively now and give themselves a reward for playing good defense. Coach Bates telling his team, run to the ball when your ball's passed to you. Very good point. A lot of times the receiver of the pass will sit there and wait, and a good defender is going to step in front of that and steal it. So you got to be heading towards the path of the basketball when it's passed to you.
Good rebound there for Lena Stein, who runs the break. Miley for 3, off the mark, and Galbavy gets the rebound. Nice idea on the entry pass from Miley to Stein, but it's going to stay here out of bounds off of Norristown.
Nice job by Adriana Golston-Witter to step in front of that. Again, good rotation by Norristown in their 2-3 here.
Bella Bacani with the drive and the foul. She's going to go to the free throw line to finish off hopefully a 3-point play.
Bella having a terrific season, on her way to
Jefferson.
Jefferson, thank you. I was about to say Philadelphia University, and I called myself Jefferson University next year.
She will certainly fit in well. She has grown every single year on the court as a leader and as a player. So I'm really looking forward to see what she does at the college level.
PV up in the pressure a little bit. I think they're trying to get themselves out of this game's kind of in a funky mode right now. Nobody really exerting their will in either way, and not that Norristown's going to exert their will, but PV just kind of playing, almost a little bit sloppy, I'll say, but there we go, finishing. This is what they do best, getting down the floor quickly, and Norristown's going to, we just got a equipment fix here, tying of the shoe. I thought they were going to take the timeout.
And PV's going to make some substitutions right now. Becky Teller is going to enter the game, as is Julia Smith, taking out Grace Miley and Grace Galbavy.
Julia Smith, who's been a big part of this team the last 3 years as far as an offensive weapon is concerned. We'll look to see if she can get on track with shooting tonight. She's kind of a three-point shooting specialist. Not that she can't take other shots, but that generally is where they look to get to her.
Yeah, she certainly is dangerous behind the three-point line. That three-pointer off the mark for Bacani. It looks like Lena Stein was on the line. Is going to put the ball back into the hands of Norristown.
Deani Jones checking in for Norristown, number 4. Junior. PV in a man-to-man defense.
Yeah, PV's going to stay in that man-to-man defense, not for any other reason, but because this is just how they play.
Yeah, they're just going to play aggressive. Oh, Bella Bacani picked the pocket of Alexis Hernandez, who then went back and picked the pocket of Bella Bacani, but she's called for the foul in the play.
PV with an 18-4 advantage, 1 minute and 15 seconds remaining here in this opening quarter.
They're looking to get Julia Smith, who then rotates it over to Bella Bacani in the corner for the 3. No good.
Yeah, three-pointer off the mark. It looks like Bacani's having a little bit of difficult time finding her spot on that three-point shot, but I know it's important to her to find it.
Yeah, as a player, you want to get into a rhythm based on what the game's presenting, and certainly have your feet set and be in the flow of the offense. And like I said, just a little chunky right now. But there's, again, you can always look to the inside. And that's actually been PV's bread and butter over the last 3 years is, if they are having some problems on the outside with their outside shooting and the perimeter shooting, you got Quinn Bettinger inside, and
yes.
And Grace Galbavy also does a good job of getting to the hole, as does Bella Bacani. So they know enough to get to the inside when their outside shooting isn't what they want it to be.
And Bella Bacani right there, a wonderful steal, puts 2 more points on the board for the Vikings.
Yeah, she's just a ball hawk. She's constantly all over it. She's timing the dribbles of her opponent from the minute the game starts. She's looking to see the cadence that they have, and then with her quickness, she's able to get that timing down, get the steal, and convert it in the other direction in most cases.
Yeah, such a smart player and a quick player, so it's really hard to go against a defender like that. But then on the offensive side of things, she's just really good at finding and picking her spots on the floor.
Yep. Real good floor leader for sure.
Becky Taylor with some great defense. Lena Stein takes it to the lane. Off the mark for the Vikings, is going to end this first quarter with a 22-4 advantage. Tyler, your thoughts as far as stats so far here in this opening quarter?
I mean, PV seems to be, obviously they came out with a hot start, 22-4. We're only shooting 1 for 5 from 3, so, with Bella Bacani going 0 for 3. I understand that that's her game, the three-point shooting and stuff like that. Maybe it's time for her to slow it down a little bit. But, we also have 7 steals, so our defense has looked great. And, especially like you said, Mr. Collins, with, if the three's not there, we have Quinn down low. She has 8 points. A majority of our assists are coming from giving her the ball down low, so I think we just got to keep feeding her down low.
Yeah, good points. And I think if they continue to do that, and at the same time try to see if they can find their moments to get their threes. You're not going to have to beat Norristown tonight by shooting 3-pointers, but you also want to be able to, as a team, for lack of a better way of putting it, practice that tonight and practice your 3-point shooting when it's there, not rush it necessarily.
And you can see that PV is going to make some substitutions. It looks like Bella Bacani is going to find a seat, and number 22, Hannah Evans, is going to take her spot on the floor. Julia Smith is going to remain, and then we have both Graces, Miley and Galbavy, back on the floor, and Lena Stein still leading the charge.
Hannah Evans, who's had only a freshman, who's had a very good year. And, I'm sure Coach Russo likes this, and anybody would, in a sense that you've got a freshman here with talent in Hannah Evans, and she's being tutored by 5 really good seniors,
Right.
and you're getting the opportunity to play with them, and not only because what they can do on the floor, but certainly their approach to the game, their mentality, all of that, and that's going to lead all the way down through the program as it has. But giving Hannah Evans the opportunity for her to play with them in this setting is really a big advantage for her and the team.
I would agree, and I think that's at this point, right, obviously the last 4 years we've been extremely lucky to have this group on the floor, but at this point it's smart to think that Coach Russo is thinking about legacy, right? Where do we go from here? And
Sure.
Building that stamina for next year so that these younger players are able to share the court and see just exactly how these girls approach the game.
Yeah, and it's going to be a different approach looking at next year. Not to get too far ahead of ourselves, as we've got a way to go in this season. Hannah with the 3 there. But that's something certainly I'm sure not in the back of his mind, probably in the forefront of his mind, and even prior to the beginning of this season. So, he's trying to build a program that's going to consistently give the effort that this team has. You're not always going to match the talent because it's high school sports and it's cyclical. You have what you have when you have it, and then when you don't, you don't. And, you got to be prepared for that. But when you can use these 5 young ladies to kind of really set the tone for your program over a long time. And this program's been good, like we said. We were talking before the broadcast from the last time, not the last time, but the one time they were in the districts about 7 years ago. And Meg Jonathan, now an assistant coach with the program. That's all part of the legacy. She's rolling in now to a coaching position, and that's just going to keep the program going the way it's been going.
Yeah, we are certainly lucky for the strength of our girls basketball team over the years. And this group, obviously, we've loved watching them over the last 4. So I'll be curious to see what the postseason holds for them. Lena Stein with the steal, looks ahead, and finds Grace Galbavy, who scores another 2 points.
Yeah, Grace with that long reach looked like the ball was going to go ahead of her. If anything, she was going to maybe gather it and dribble out of there, but able to get herself under control, pull the ball back, and go up for the layup.
That runner off the mark for Addison O'Neill is going to put the ball back into the hands of the Vikings. We have a timeout here on the floor. 6:25 remaining in the second quarter. PV up 28-4.
Yeah, so, again, as the game rolls on here, I would think that at some point we may be into the mercy rule with the 30-point lead and the running clock. We'll see how that progresses over the next 6:25 of the second quarter. But Norristown, to their credit, they're playing hard. Again, a very young team, as we talked about, with a freshman and a sophomore and a couple of sophomores in the lineup. So it's something Coach Bates can look at and build on, hopefully, over the next few years. And this is a good opportunity for them to face, obviously, a very talented Perkiomen Valley team and just get them to run a set offense and be patient in that way. And, I would almost try to accomplish, hey, let's see if we can get 8 passes in an offense that's flowing against this team, because this is a very good defensive squad more than anything, I think, Perkiomen Valley. So we'll see what they look to attempt as the game goes on.
And PV looks to score here, a turnover with the entry pass.
Ooh.
Some fancy dribbling here for Norristown in transition.
Deani Jones with the nice ball handling skills, able to get out of 3 defenders there.
A turnover puts the ball back into the hands of Lena Stein, who leads the push. Finds Grace Galbavy on the perimeter. Good defense there for Galston Witter.
Yeah, nice job by her. Good side defend there. Able to get into the passing lane with her on hand. Kept her backhand still holding the defender that she was covering, or the offensive player that she was covering. So good position.
Miley finds a cutting Julia Smith. That off the back iron. Misses the putback. Galston Witter pulls that rebound. And Galbavy steps in for another 2.
That's exactly what I was talking about earlier. She's just sitting there stalking, and she's waiting to see when that errant pass is made, when that pass is just a little soft, because she can quickly get into the passing lane, as Hannah Evans just exhibited there.
Hannah Evans, the freshman, puts her first 2 points on the board after an awesome steal. PV is up 32-4.
Good look inside. She's not able to finish.
Lena Stein with another rebound. She has a number of rebounds so far this evening. A kick to Grace Miley inside. Hannah Evans to Grace Galbavy. Great ball movement for the Vikings. And it's going to put Grace Miley on the free throw line after she is fouled.
Really nice ball. It almost looked like a volleyball game there at the last 3 passes. Just tap, 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 and to Miley cutting down the lane and getting fouled and going to the line to shoot 2. So really nice touch passing as they move through that offensive sequence.
That first one off the back iron for Miley. Looks like we have some substitutions coming in. Quinn Bettinger coming into the game. And number 31, Megan King, sophomore, coming in for her first minutes of the game. Miley makes the second, making this 33-4.
PV remaining in the man-to-man. There's Grace Miley seeing the errant pass and able to step in and get it and head down the other way for 2 points.
Yeah, Norristown really, they're fighting, but it's just an exposure of some mechanics, right, of stepping to the ball, of really looking where you're making those passes. PV is certainly not a team that's going to step back on any opportunity to make a steal, so you really have to be extremely smart about everything you do offensively with the basketball against a team like this.
Absolutely, and, at first they were, but now they're just kind of, seeing how things are playing out and just trying to make a couple of passes if they can at this point. But again, it's just a matter of settle down, execute, run some good offense, take good shots. And, again, we've said this on many broadcasts, either with the boys or the girls. A lot of times your best defense is just to keep the ball in your hands, and that way the other team doesn't have it. But, when you're talking about Perk Valley, they're looking to jump in the passing lanes and steal the ball constantly and are good at it.
Grace Miley comes up with that loose ball. And she controls. Finds King back to Miley. That three-pointer is around and in.
Yeah, rattles that one in. Good shot, Grace. Shooter's touch, as they call it.
Nice and soft.
Norristown just kind of not quite sure what their set is. Looks like we're going to have a jump ball here.
Another jump ball here. Hannah Evans really exerting some intensity. Substitution here. We'll take Hannah Evans out and bring back Bella Bacani.
Perkiomen Valley scores here. We will be into the I'm sorry, we need to wait till the second half for the mercy rule. I apologize.
They should turn that clock back on. We are stuck at 3:24.
There we go.
There you go. And Quinn Bettinger puts another 2 points on the board.
So Perk Valley, as we know, has been playing a lot of non-league opponents this year, and good for them because that's something that they need to do. I'm not taking anything away from Norristown, but some of the opponents in the pack this year just kind of aren't at the level of talent that Perkiomen Valley is. And, the only way Perkiomen Valley is going to get better is to play better talent. It's like that in any sport you play, whether it's an individual or a team sport. That's how you get better. So Perk Valley has traveled to Western Pennsylvania. They've traveled to Florida, played some of the best opponents in the country, and I think that'll pay dividends at the end of the season. But as we get into this part of the season now, and certainly you're into a lot of league play, it's tough for Coach Russo and the rest of the team in a sense that, your best workout is going to be at practice simply because your second team is going to be better than some of the first teams that you're facing. So in practice, you're really going to get a better look at 10 people on the floor at one time.
Yeah, I think that's certainly the challenge, right? It's awesome that we have such a dominant team, but going into the postseason, not just in the PAC, but in the districts and ultimately in the states, these girls are really going to be meeting some tough competition, and being prepared for that is certainly difficult when you have a league that's really not presenting the challenges that they really need.
Yeah, absolutely, and I have a few of the girls in class, and I said to a couple of them as they exit class today, quick win, exit quick, no injuries. You hate to say that, but, you get into games like this that kind of get a big point differential and everybody just slows up a little bit. And sometimes that's when problems can happen from an injury standpoint. So you always got to be cognizant of that.
After those free throws, PV up 43-6. Belbacani with another drive, and she'll go to the free throw line.
Deani Jones showing some sportsmanship there. Went back and gave Bella 5 after the foul.
Had a nice jumper a few moments back here for Norristown on the other end of the floor. And Bacani knocks down both free throws, making this a 45-6 advantage for the Vikings.
Norristown, again, just don't look like they're quite sure what to do offensively, and Perk Valley just kind of jumping at that, throwing the ball away here. Oh, good save by Grace Miley.
Almost leaving the gym for a moment.
Yeah, through those glass doors. Oh, that's off in Norristown, I believe. Yeah, that's heading back the other way, Perkiomen Valley.
Yeah, their frenetic defense is certainly something that they just can't step away from. It's just what they do, right?
Yeah.
They sit in that man-to-man defense, and then if you smell an opportunity for a trap, they're going to find it. So it's certainly very difficult for opposing teams to weather that storm.
Yeah, and Norristown's just so overmatched here tonight, and it's going to make it even more difficult. Nice shot there.
Megan King, the sophomore, knocking down a nice three-point shot from the corner.
Might only be the second three-pointer of the night for Perk Valley.
The double team leads the steal for Bacani. She has a number of them so far this evening. 48.2 seconds remaining here in this first half.
Yeah, cross-court passes against any type of defense are dangerous, let alone when you're back by half court, because that's the other defender that's defending. So you only have a fine line to make that pass across.
And Grace Galbavy scores another 2 points. PV with 50 points here in this first half. Bacani. A drive and a foul is going to put her in the free throw line. 20.8 seconds.
She'll be up shooting too. Ayani Jones on the foul. Deani Jones, I'm sorry.
And she makes the second.
15 seconds here in the half. Peavy with the rebound.
A foul. After Quinn Bettinger misses that one, she wants that one back, and Grace Galbavy will go to the free throw line.
Yeah, kind of. Quinn's smiling down there, sort of laughing at herself.
And what's difficult here is when you have such a disparity, how do you maintain focus, right? I mean, the opportunities that are there to score, but I mean, it's easy to lose focus out on the court when you're playing against a team that's not necessarily. And that three-pointer is good.
It is good by Grace.
For Grace Galbavy, 55-6. We go into the half, gentlemen. Before we take a break, any thoughts?
I mean, we're just overall having a really nice game. I mean, we have two guys with 5+ steals. And, we've obviously gotten in transition, and most of our assists are coming from transition. And the same thing with Galbavy's points. I mean, she's one of our players with 5 steals. The majority of her points tonight have come from her, being able to steal the ball and going in transition and making the layup. So, I mean, overall, our defense looks great. Our offense is looking good. We finally started to make some threes there towards the end of the second half. I mean, we're second quarter, I'm sorry. We're 4 for 9 from 3 right now.
So I'll wait till we come back after the break. I just want to talk about showing one of the last comments you made there as far as keeping focus and even from a team and a coaching standpoint. I just want to elaborate more on that when we get back from the break.
All right, folks, we'll be back in just a few minutes. A 55-6 advantage for the Lady Vikings here against Norristown. All right, folks, and we are back here for the second half. We're just a few seconds away from third quarter action. Perkins Valley versus Norristown. Our Lady Vikings up 55-6. Gentlemen, as we begin this action in the second half, thoughts as we start.
So when we broke away, we were talking about the challenges, or what is Coach Russo going to look to accomplish here in the second half. And sometimes this is a more difficult challenge for a coach when you're playing a team like a Norristown or some of the teams in the pack where, the talent doesn't quite match up. So you come out in the second half, you're up 55-6. How long do you play your starters? How long do you play them at all? How long do you execute your offense? You're certainly not going to run any kind of pressure, but you're in a situation where you're almost a no-win situation. You certainly don't want your players getting injured and things like that. Nice jump shot there by number 13, Adriana Golston-Witter, coming out of the locker room for Norristown. But that's a challenge, and Coach Russo has to see what that balance is. There's a lot of teams you face in the pack that you're going to be in situations where you're up by maybe 20 and 30 points by halftime. But do you want to sit your starting five or even a good portion of them for the whole second half? Well, now you get into a situation where, maybe 3 games in a row, your starting five or a good portion of them have only played half the game because you've been up by 30 points by halftime. So it's a real difficult balance for Coach Russo moving through not only the second half of this game, but similar opponents in the pack this year.
Right. Quinn Bettinger to the free throw line, making the first, missing the second.
That's one thing you certainly want to work on, and it's a good thing to work on is free throw shooting. And one of the reasons is not only, you get fouled, you get to the line, but it's really hard to replicate free throw shooting in a game situation in practice. So here you are in practice, even though you're up by the amount of points that you're at, but you're playing at game speed and all that. So when the whistle comes and you're going to the free throw line, really focus on your routine at the free throw line.
Julia Smith off the mark on that three-point shot. I would agree. I think that these are opportunities to take great and turn it into try to perfect.
Right.
You get as close to that as you possibly can. And for the players who aren't necessarily in your starting lineup, really making every moment of your time on the floor, because you never know when you're going to see them in the postseason.
Sure. And, one of the things Coach Russo's working towards this year, and I think has a little bit more this year, is some depth. And with Hannah Evans coming off the bench, and certainly Julia Smith, who has for the last couple of years now a senior Julia, this does give them a little bit depth. Becky Taylor getting some time, especially for Quinn Bettinger. That's going to pay dividends when you get into situations where maybe one of your starting five gets into foul trouble in a district game or a state game, and you're going to need some minutes from those girls off the bench. So this is a good time, as you said, Sean, to give them those opportunities.
Quinn Bettinger finishes off that possession with a 2-point conversion inside. Katie Nemec getting some minutes early here in this third quarter.
We are now into the mercy rule with Perk Valley up by 48, so clock will only stop at free throws, injuries, or timeouts, or the end of the quarter.
Alana Colson scoring that one. Lena Stein. Foul here against Norristown, against Grace Miley. Is going to keep the ball here for the Vikings. Lena Stein set to pass in.
Norristown just has not moved out of this 2-3 defensively, which gives Perk Valley some limitations as far as trying to run some different looks at it if they're going to just stay in the 2-3.
Lena Stein looks to convert inside. A foul on Quinn Bettinger as she gets the rebound, and she'll go to the free throw line for 2.
Sinte McCoy, the sophomore, number 10, picking up the foul. Norristown already with 3 team fouls. At 5 team fouls will be shooting 2, or Norristown will be. That's Quinn's second miss in a row from the free throw line.
And she misses the second of that one as well. Yeah, this is an opportunity for the Vikings to focus in because no matter what, who you're playing against, free throws are free throws, and you're going to want to knock those down. And Norristown, number 14, Addison O'Neal scoring a nice jumper from the outside.
Deep three there for Addison O'Neal. Well done.
Lena Stein with the miss. Quinn Bettinger with the rebound to score. And it looks like we have some substitutions here for the Vikings.
Burke Valley going to make a line change, bringing out 5 new players. This is kind of what we talked about. You'll see these kind of mass substitutions and probably a rotation of the starters out of play, but you'll see them sporadically as you're seeing here both Bella Bacani and Grace Galbavy as part of this unit coming onto the floor right now with a couple of the young ladies that we've spoken about with Becky Taylor and Hannah Evans checking in and also
Megan King.
Thank you, Megan King, who's already been in for this game. So good time for these 5 to get some time together. It'll be Norristown ball coming in. Bella Bacani's going to pick up the ball coming up at half court.
And we have a foul here. It looks like that one's going to be against Hannah Evans.
Her and Bella Bacani looking to double in the corner, just getting a little handsy, picking up the foul.
This foul is going to look like it's going to go against Grace Galbavy.
So as we were speaking before the game, as the Sixers have pulled out of their arena deal in Chinatown and now looking to partner up with Comcast Sports, well, Comcast and the Flyers and building a new arena and potentially bringing a WNBA franchise in. So this is exciting. There's number 14 for Norristown again, Addison O'Neal hitting a big 3. So this is going to be fun to see how this plays out over the next couple of years. If Philadelphia is able to add a franchise in the WNBA, which is just becoming electric in the last couple of years. Bella Bacani there answers with the 3 of her own.
Yeah, that would be wonderful. Obviously, women's basketball is so popular, and really it's awesome to see that popularity growing in the nation. And I think that that Philadelphia is certainly hungry for its own team, so I can't wait to see that come to fruition.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised it's taken this long for the WNBA, which is managed by the NBA for all intents and purposes, and financially endorsed, we'll say, by the, I shouldn't say managed, but financially backed by the NBA, that it's taken this long because women's basketball traditionally has a deep history here. You look at the Dawn Staleys, and we can go back even further and into the Philadelphia archives and some of these ladies that have played in the NBA. I'm sorry, in the Big Five and those teams, and the Atlantic 10 from St. Joe's over the years. And it's kind of shocking that it's taken this long to put a WNBA franchise in Philadelphia.
Yeah, I mean, I seriously think that, and not to mention my own experience, but I think just watching our high school girls basketball and the number of our players that go on to play at the college level, the popularity is there and the interest is there. So I think whether it means our high school or college players, but also our young teams, right? I mean, it's youth basketball at the female level is huge in our area. So I think it's going to be a lot of folks really interested in going to see that team play.
Yeah, there's a lot of interest right now to see if potentially Lucy Olson, who's now at Iowa, actually gets into the WNBA, gets drafted, I would have to say all signs point towards yes, that happening. So that would be the player closest to home to the Pioneer Athletic Conference in Perkiomen Valley that opportunity, unless I'm missing somebody in the past, but I don't believe so. So it really, back to your point, Sean, where we've been looking at good basketball, and certainly Lucy Olson has been part of what we've seen here with this program and its development, because she was there early on for these girls, and it's neat to watch that development.
Right. Yeah, I mean, and there is a history here, not just in Philadelphia area, but here in the suburbs. You see, a lot of really good AAU teams for our females, as well as just a lot of them going on to be successful at the college level.
Yeah.
Becky Taylor misses her first free throw. If there's one thing I would say the Vikings need that you can take from this game is free throws is important.
Yeah, not having a great free throw shooting night at this point. We'll check into our stat guy at the end of this quarter. He'll give us a rundown as far as what the team's doing from a free throw shooting standpoint. But, again, it's one of it's potentially a byproduct of what they're playing against tonight, in a sense that, it's tough to really get yourself focused. I'll say that, and excited about this. And when you get to the free throw line, you might not have your thoughts totally clear, but that's something you got to overcome, because you got to be able to step to that free throw line and channel everything into that shot.
Gabby Russo getting her first minutes of the game, as is Scarlett Lee checking in for the first time as well, along with Lena Stein, Katie Nemec, and I believe that's Julia Smith out there as well.
Scarlett only a freshman as well for Perkiomen Valley.
Jumper off the mark there for Norristown, and a push here for Gabby Russo. Nice pass ahead to Katie Nemec. And we're about to end this third quarter. Lena Stein short on that jump shot from inside. As we go into the fourth quarter, Perkiomen Valley up 68-18, a 50-point advantage. How are we doing down there with the stats? Do we have anything of importance to chat about tonight?
So you guys, obviously we've been talking about free throws, and that's seemed to be the one thing that Perk Valley can obviously work on tonight. We're shooting 57%, 11 from 19. It's obviously not our best free throw shooting night. That's one thing we can work on. Obviously, most of the people who have taken our free throws are now on the bench, so unfortunately they won't be able to work on that in a game setting. But that's definitely something Coach Russo is going to look at and see that they can improve on during their next game.
Yeah, and free throw shooting, we don't have to tell the audience out there how important it is, and certainly everybody who knows anything about basketball, even to the smallest degree, you miss those free throws, and sometimes it doesn't seem like a big deal. You miss one here, one there, but at the end of a tight game, it's going to be the difference between winning and losing in some cases. And, if anything, as a shooter, what you want to do is, no matter what's going on in the game, is just get into your routine that you have when you get into a free throw shooting competition. I'm sorry, free throw shooting situation. And that allows you to focus, whether it's you take 2 steps in this direction, 2 steps in that direction, I dribble the ball 3 times, I dribble the ball 4 times, I spin it backwards, whatever that may be. I look at the rim, I look down at the floor. Whatever that routine is to help you focus, that's what you got to do no matter what the opponent.
Katie Nemec with the score inside. Ball movement looking really good for this unit out here for the Vikings. A 3 on the way off the mark is going to be, it's going to go back to the Vikings after a touch from Norristown.
Yeah, Deani Jones not shy about taking those threes. Good for her.
Russo to Nemec inside Alina Stein. A kick back out and a cross-court pass. A 3 on the way off the front iron, and Lena Stein grabs a rebound and puts 2 back up.
A couple of other Perk Valley players getting ready to check into the contest. Good job there by Gabby
Russo
Yeah.
with 2 on the outlet.
Yeah, running that pass down as it got ahead of her. Nice job by her.
My apologies on the previous score. That was Lauren Bukowski on that inside score. Coming in, we have Katie Nemec and Hannah Evans checking in.
So this is the first time tonight I think we're seeing all 5 starters seated.
Yeah, so what you're seeing on the floor now is certainly the next generation of PV girls basketball, and they're really having an opportunity at the varsity level to find their chemistry on the floor tonight.
Yeah, and for an extended period of time. A lot of times you don't see this type of situation only when there's maybe a minute or less in some cases, or a minute and a half, but you've got 5.5 minutes left here, so this is a good quality time for them to really get an opportunity to play in this type of setting.
Gabby Russo with another nice drive to the basket.
A lot of times what happens with if you're the 6th man and further down the bench, and you might not be playing JV, so your opportunities at the varsity level become less. So when you get this kind of opportunity for an extended period of time, you really want to make the most of it. And it doesn't mean you want to go out and just try to score as many points as you can, but you want to play good as a unit.
Hannah Evans, cross-court pass, finds it back.
And you can see that with this group. You can tell who's going up against the 5 starters in a practice situation. You could tell it's these 5, and they're really doing a nice job just playing within themselves and playing together again as a unit.
And they're certainly fighting hard inside here. Even after misses, they're all converging, looking for rebounds, and it looks like we have a number of different girls hitting the boards.
Yeah, nice job there by Scarlett Lade, battling with 2 other Norristown defenders, getting the ball passed down, getting fouled out, or getting fouled in that moment as she kicked it out. So good job by her.
Lauren Bukowski with another 2 points. And she'll go to the free throw line. She's fouled in transition.
Deani Jones picking up the foul there, kind of pushing her on the hip as she went up for the layup.
Jones is second, team second. Lauren Bukowski at the line, shooting 2. Substitution for Norristown, coming into the game number 11, Alexis Hernandez.
Makes the first, misses the second. This ball off of Norristown is going to give the ball back to Perkiomen Valley. Gabby Russo for 3.
Ooh.
And it looks like we have a foul here against the Vikings.
And Lauren Bukowski picking up the foul, going up there with number 1 from Norristown, Raina Wright. Raina coming down pretty hard on that, but she seems okay. Little shoe adjustment.
And a trap here for PV on the perimeter, and they're certainly bringing the defensive intensity. A foul here against Bukowski. I believe that's going to be her second foul. And
Adriana Golston-Witter getting to the line to shoot 2. Not able to hit on the first.
King and Becky Taylor returning to the floor. Golston Witter knocking down that second free throw.
So PV's next opponent, I believe, is Springford. Am I right? On Thursday night?
Is that this week? I believe that Springford is a next
week. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm not certain who they play this.
I know they have Archbishop Wood coming up in the future, in the near future. That'll be a great matchup for them. Archbishop Wood, one of the better teams in the Catholic League, one of the better teams in the state. And that'll be a good test for Perk Valley moving forward through this season. And, again, as we talked earlier about the pack and some of the talent there and what they really need to play outside of the league. And, Archbishop Wood's going to be one of those opponents that they're looking forward to playing for to really give them a good test, who they may see later down the road. Well, I'm sorry, they're not 6A, I don't think.
I was going to ask, some of the Catholic schools are 5A, so
right.
You may not see them in district or state play. Gabby Russo for 3. Becky Taylor scores.
Good job by Becky pivoting towards the basket, catching the ball on a baseline pass. Got about a minute left here in the ball game.
Yeah, Norristown's going to slow things up. And that's a foul against number 1, Renea White.
Setting an illegal screen there.
Russo for 3.
She's getting her money's worth with threes in the last 2 minutes.
She's certainly putting them up. And Katie Nemec knocks down a 3 from the top of the key.
Nice job by Katie burying that from dead straight on.
Again, this group is going to be asked to kind of step into some pretty big shoes next year, so it's good that they're finding some time here on the court tonight.
Absolutely.
And that's going to just about do it tonight. We are going to run out of time with this game with an 84-19 win for the Vikings. Gentlemen, as we close things out, final thoughts.
Like I said, just got to work on the free throws. Next game, we shot 57% at the end of the night. That's something that Coach Russo is obviously going to be looking at. But on the positive side, 23 steals from our girls tonight.
Yeah, they're such a good team defensively, and I think it's their best asset is their defense. And like you said, working on free throws can happen in any type of competition, and it's good to be able to make free throws. And we'll see how they are moving forward because some of the bigger tests are right around the corner.
Absolutely. So we'll see you next time for tonight. Thank you so much for all of us. Big win here for the Vikings. Take care.